Oh, well, that's nice. I mean, this house is exquisite. I must say, this is exquisite, John. You outdid yourself,
She's
girl.
pretty, eh?
So this is Miss. Um, how do you want us to say who you are, Miss
Crystal
Eva? Oh,
quartz.
Miss Crystal Quartz. Why did you change it from Yvonne?
So I decided that in order for me to become my new character, that I needed
Mm-hmm.
to leave the old character behind because who I am now is not who I was. So
Okay.
I decided to change the name so that it felt like I'd actually done the full transition of the change of who I was.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's so strange. I haven't seen you in how many
It's
years?
been about 10 now.
Oh my God,
Well, it's been a
girl!
while.
You think about it. We've been a girl. You know what? We are blessed.
Oh yes, we
We are
are.
so blessed. We are here, and it's nice to meet you, Athena.
Very nice to meet you.
How long you been doing drag?
We're now going on probably 6 years professionally,
Mm-hmm.
and thanks to Crystal also, she's gotten me out there as well as my drag mother to tour around Canada a lot more and
Mm-hmm.
really bring drag to every corner of Ontario.
Oh, wonderful. Now, Crystal, what do you think now that you're doing the competitions across Canada to bring recognition to not just Canadian talent, but to, entertainers around the world here to Ontario? What do you see the future in drag here in Canada? Because as you know, for many years, like you said, I've been producing a lot of these shows, and I find it very tough when you don't have enough entertainment or not enough professional entertainers to
Professional.
perform.
Professional.
Mm-hmm.
Keyword. Yeah, so, well, drag around here, I find what people are doing here for drag is not necessarily what we grew up for drag, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
to me, everyone's kind of doing this real girl,
Gimmick.
motif that they're not actually accenting what it is to me to be drag, that big, larger than life personality. So,
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping with what we're doing now, we can kind of switch and show people because we don't have what they have in the States. They don't see that big elaborate drag here like they do
Mm-hmm.
down there. And so my goal is to bring all the showgirls around Ontario and show everybody what I consider good drag.
Mm-hmm.
And I think hopefully that'll start inspiring people to start doing some character work because you don't see what we used to do, right? With celebrity
Mm-hmm.
impersonations, you and me are probably one of the only two doing most of it still, anyways, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be great to see, something different than just trying to look like a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Because,
Now, you, Athena, as a young person, and the internet is a very influential and powerful source for you to connect to different audiences around the world. And you being a young performer, what do you think is going to happen now that RuPaul has brought a new look or just a difference to the industry?
Yeah, I would say the industry is definitely, well, it's become an industry, I think, more because of Rue. And like Crystal was saying, drag in the States has been incredibly large for so many years. And here in Canada, I don't think we have the same kind of entertainment or the professionalism that you were kind of mentioning earlier as well. So, trying to dig and find those people around different provinces, I'm sure, is a little difficult. But
yeah.
yeah, but definitely the internet has been extremely influential in terms of almost what it is like a starter pack or a expectation of how you
Mm-hmm.
should present yourself, how you should look, and how you should perform. But that's all television, right? So you
Mm-hmm.
need to find that for yourself because those people have done that already. So it's not all just high kicks and spins and there's characterization and there's proper lip sync and there's proper training and dancing and if you're going to do stunts there's training for that too. You don't just have to learn that from Alyssa Edwards doing it at the finale of RuPaul's Drag Race because it looked cool. So I think testing yourself and all those elements, if you really want to learn them, that's pretty much all the work that goes into it. So
And one more question. Now, John, now that drag is really popular and on television, now you see everybody in drag, even straight men in drag and even women in drag doing drag shows. What do you think do you think the market is going to be oversaturated with drag queens that really aren't doing anything for mainstream society as far as, let's say, becoming a real author in life, a real actor with an Oscar, or people that are really doing things, the movers and shakers in the world. What do you think drag queens are going to play in with that?
So I think it's going to be much like, kind of any art right now, right? So anybody can pick up a pencil and draw something, right? And and they can call themselves an artist, right? But then when you go to look at it and you put a Picasso beside, your art, you can see what the artist is. Now, I think some of them kind of, not necessarily give us a bad name, but if people go to a drag show and it's somebody that's amateur and they're running it, they're not quite getting what drag is, and so that kind of scares me. But other than that, I lost my train of thought there.
It's separating yourself from always being a gimmick.
There you go.
Right? So
now, the reason I brought that up is because I'm thinking RuPaul has created this huge industry for a lot of drag performers. Not the majority of people have never seen drag shows. Now, how do you change people's perception to come out and think drag is worthy to see? Because even when you see it on RuPaul's Drag Race and drag shows,
still not as impressive as in person. Yeah.
So it's missing that Hollywood element.
That spark that you get when you're on stage, and that is so hard to put on film or in picture. And I feel like the only way of getting those people out is like, I don't know if you've noticed by my posters, they look really exciting, and I try to create that like neon sign and sparkles and kind of give that people the feeling of what they're going to experience when they come there, because it's a larger than life atmosphere and where you feel, beautiful and welcomed and everything, right? So
now the reason I'm asking you, just one more question.
As many as
But the reason I'm asking this is because now that, you can only sell so much makeup. Young people, drag performers, they have a limited budget, even when they're making real money. Let's just say you're making money now with drag. How can you afford to buy a house? How can you pay for insurance, health care, food? A lot of the LGBT community has decided they want to have children now. And these are things I'm thinking are going to be very difficult. And for you to find a niche that you do that is going to fill a stadium, because eventually the day will come to where RuPaul show will be canceled.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Somebody's got to take over it.
So what do these 5,000 drag queens that you have had on this popular reality show do after the show is done?
Well, there's going to have to create another version of the show, right?
Because this is hard to make a living in. Makeup is expensive.
Makeup is expensive. The outfits, like I have thousands and thousands of dollars just in rhinestones. Rhinestones, not just outfits, but rhinestones. There's thousands in makeup right there, right? There's I probably have $10,000 in wigs. Yeah, right. Like it's an investment, right? And so if people aren't, drag in general is an investment. So if you're taking this on as a career, I highly suggest that all of your tips that you're getting, you put it right back into your art. And that's how I've gotten to where I am today. It's because I don't spend my tips on anything else other than literally going back into makeup, hair, whatever it happens to be for that day.
But at some point, for the both of you, at some point, Athena and Crystal, at some point you have to start really thinking about, is this really worth it? Is this really worth all of this? Is RuPaul Drag Race even really, really relevant to make your lives in the long run different and better? Can you make a living? Can you buy yourself a house? Can you buy yourself a car? Can you afford in the next 5 years to just be able to live
comfortably
and go out into society and be accepted, and knowing that you can call any club, you can call places, and they will say, okay, we will book you?
Yeah.
Or should drag queens have a new perception, because most of the time RuPaul is putting these shows in theaters? So they're the ones really controlling your talent and controlling this machine. Yeah. So when you're on your own in your little small town from where you're from, what are you going to do? when your phone is not ringing.
Oh, there's, yeah.